So I decided to come to the lovely Harry P. Lou Gardens to make this video recording. I wanted to share what I discussed yesterday evening with the members of the Palm Bay SDA Church about thriving in troubled times. And I wanted to just highlight some of the strategies that my husband and I have used and are using, some of which we are still aspiring to as we seek to, to cope with and to learn from and to transcend and to even thrive in these times of pandemic and social unrest and everything else that you and I may be dealing with. Unfortunately, the times became even more troubled for me personally as my dad passed away yesterday. But as you will hear, the very strategies that I will share are the ones that have helped me to cope with and to deal with and to transcend the situation, the times that we're dealing with, whether it's nationally, globally, as a family, or even personally. Today we just want to talk about some of the physical, mental, emotional, as well as spiritual strategies that we all can use to help us deal with these times. So when it comes to, firstly, we are physical beings and we have physical bodies that we need to take care of, because taking care of our physical bodies is one of the ways that we can thrive in troubled times. And as far as our physical bodies are concerned, the first thing we want to pay attention to is what is going into our physical bodies, and that has to do with our food, our diet. Healthy food results in a healthy body. Cutting out the sugar, at least minimizing it, reducing the amount of carbs, because the sugar and the carbs can be very inflammatory. They can cause increase in free radicals, which damage the cells of our bodies. So we want to minimize that, and we want to increase, healthy proteins and healthy fats as far as the other basic food groups are concerned. My husband and I, once a week we will make our smoothie with the coconut milk and, for healthy fat, and we'll add some yogurt, Greek yogurt in there for a healthy protein, and then we'll even add some sources of blueberries, for additional antioxidant properties, and some other sources of omega fatty acids to help support all of the organs. Incorporate all of these wonderful things, including the omega-3 fatty acids, into our smoothie every Sunday morning, and we have that after our Sunday morning workout. And that is actually brings me to the other thing that's important to taking care of your physical body, which is exercise. We are created to move. We need to move. Our bodies thrive when we move adequately. So we need to make sure that we're getting exercise. If not strenuous and exerting, we need to at least do some walking regularly to increase our circulation, make sure that we're getting oxygen and other nutrients to all the cells in our bodies, because taking care of our bodies is the foundation of taking care of all the other aspects of our beings, so that we can indeed thrive. So the second aspect of our being that we want to make sure we're taking care of as we seek to thrive in troubled times has to do with our mental health, right? We know that there is a definite connection between our minds and our bodies. And so what we do for our mind, we also do for our bodies, and vice versa. but there are things we can do specific to strengthening and enhancing our mental capacity that can be of tremendous help to us. And one of that has to do with engaging in learning activities. Everything that's happening is very stressful, but we can support our minds by learning new things. There are tons of free courses online. I took a course last month in writing to improve my writing, not just technical writing, but writing for a lay audience. I also took some other technical courses. My husband and I, we took a health course from this doctor that was offered online as well. We wanted to learn chess, but we haven't gotten around to that one yet, but we haven't given up on it. And so, your mind is a muscle. And just as you work your physical muscles to make them stronger, you have to work your mental muscle to help it become stronger and more resilient so that it can serve you during stressful times. And the other thing you want to be sure to do is to guard your sleep. Sleep is very important. Sleep is like a tune-up for your brain and your mind. When we sleep, our brain is cleaned, our cells are washed, and they are pampered and polished so that they can perform optimally the next day. Sleep is a tune-up for your brain, and then by extension, for your mind. So sleep is very important. My husband and I, at the beginning of the lockdown, stay at home, we were both working from home, and so we were getting up when we wanted, and we were kind of going to bed when we wanted, and we realized that was not working for us as well. We were not getting the best out of our days. So we actually made a schedule that involved us going to bed at a reasonable time, between 9 and 10, and waking up early in the morning, at 6 o'clock, getting our day started so that we can get done with our work requirements, with using our mental capacities at its best. We also have engaged in some learning activities. I read a lot, so that's one of the things that I do, and we've been learning. I took a health course during this pandemic season. I've learned I took a writing course to help me be a better writer, not just technically, but writing about lay subjects. And we planned on learning to play chess, but we haven't gotten around to that yet. Maybe in the next video I'll talk about those exploits. But you want to make sure that you're engaged in learning. Learning actually helps strengthen and support your mind, and you want to make sure that you're getting adequate sleep. So the third aspect of our being that we must pay attention to when it comes to dealing with stressful times has to do with our emotional health. It's very important that we're present and aware of our emotions, and that we don't just become swallowed up or swamped by only our negative emotions, but recognize them, acknowledge them, channel them positively, but don't stay there consistently. We have to find ways to experience our positive emotions as well. And one of the things we have to do is we have to, in stressful times, keep the big picture in mind. Yeah, these things are really important for us. We have to think about the fact that, yes, there are lots of difficult and uncomfortable things that are happening around us, but I can guarantee you that for every negative thing that's happening, there are thousands of positive things that are happening. We need to seek them out. We need to find them. We need to focus on them. We need to celebrate them so that we can experience joy and love and happiness and laughter and all of the positive emotions that we were designed to experience. For example, we're in this garden and there are all these beautiful flowers, so inspiring, that can help us recognize the beauty that surrounds us in our world each and every day. And you know, the other aspect of our emotions that we must pay attention to is that we must deliberately engage our social connections. We are social beings. We have to reach out to other people. We have to reach out to them by offering help and care, as well as accepting and receiving compassion and care from them. One of the things that my husband and I do, is we spend a lot of time sharing together, you know, doing things together, or just sitting and enjoying each other's company, because we recognize that how important that is for our emotional health. There's a hormone that's called oxytocin. It's known as the cuddle hormone or the love hormone, and it's actually released in your body when you are connected with someone socially, when you hug and you touch someone, you caress someone. So that's one of the ways that you can actually lower your anxiety and your stress level by just hugging or being hugged. And so we want to make sure that we're taking care of our emotions, finding the positive, celebrating the positive, and reaching out to each other so that we can thrive physically, mentally, emotionally, and then spiritually. Fourth and final aspect of our being that needs tending to in order for us to thrive in these troubled times relates to our spiritual health. You know, as human beings, we don't come with an app that lets us know how much spiritual battery power we have left and when we need to plug in. But plugging in, we do need to do. And one of the ways that you can do that is to find quiet time. Find time where your spirit can connect with God's Holy Spirit, so that He can impart peace and tranquility and joy. So when it comes to spiritual health, there are a lot of strategies. But for me, some of the things that I like doing, um, reading, praying, meditating, listening to and singing along were songs of worship and praise. I find that that really helps me recharge my spiritual battery. And whatever works for you. But, you know, please find the time, make the time to do this, something of that nature on a regular basis. And of course, as I mentioned, I keep a gratitude journal, both Mark and I. This is Mark's and this is mine. Mine is bigger. And I want to share one of the items in my journal that I had recorded that sometime in March, and it says, "Today I am grateful that I get another day to spend with my amazing husband, working together and learning together. I am glad that we actually enjoy each other's company and that we have a wonderful marriage. Thank God for Mark." And so those are some of the things that I do when I write my gratitude lists in the morning. But you can do it however, whatever works for you. And so as we get ready to face the remainder of this year 2020, we're not sure what it may bring, but we do know that there are things that we can do to help us be prepared and to face whatever comes, to be strengthened and supported, to have strong physical bodies, strong mind, be emotionally steadfast, and to have spiritual peace and tranquility in our lives, so that we can indeed thrive. And when 2020 would have come to an end, we can say, despite all that happened, we found ways to be happy, to share love, and to give and receive compassion in meaningful ways. So I hope for all of you that you find your peace, you find your happiness, you find your joy, and may God bless us one and all.